I'm leaving. I set this up to where it was gonna fade out at the right time and everything. And every time I go to hit record, you start talking instantly. The mic check was over, dude. We already did that part of it. That was Finn.
Finney.
Finney. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Laugh and Be Blessed podcast, where we're freaking idiots, dude. But we have such good times.
We're idiots.
I mean, yeah. At this point,
Wow.
you can't pretend like people haven't heard you. You know, because like I feel like what you're doing right now is you're saying it as if like people have not met you. You know, when you lie.
I'm adorable.
I didn't say you weren't adorable.
And delightful.
Yeah, you're a delightful fool.
And very intelligent.
Like, you could be an idiot and smart. You know.
Smart idiot.
Yeah, an idiot savant. Isn't that what that is? I don't know what that is, to be honest.
Thing?
People talk. Yeah, idiot savant's a real thing. I don't know what it means.
What?
I feel like it means like you're just good at that thing.
An idiot savant.
Yeah. Again, I don't know what it means, but welcome to the podcast where we break down really important things in this world, like what is an idiot savant?
A person who has an exceptional aptitude in one particular field, such as music or mathematics, despite having significant impairment in other areas of intellectual or social functioning. So I was
right. You can be an idiot.
You're really great at one thing, but you're stupid at everything else.
Dude, what's the opposite of that? Where I'm just like dumb.
A wise fool.
Yeah, because like I'm dumb at a lot of things, but like a little okay at it.
That's what an idiot savant is.
I thought an idiot savant was somebody who's really good at one thing, and sucks at everything else.
I'm
trying to say like I'm
suck at everything else.
Like I'm decent at a lot of things.
So you're a jack of all trades, but a master of none. So
I'm not good at sex. That's all I heard you just say to me. That's like it sounds.
Dang, you putting it all out on Front Street, are you?
I can't believe you said it. You implied it with the implicate. It's the implications.
You said it.
You didn't argue it, and that's the problem.
I don't feel like this is the place for that.
Where then, you know? Where?
I know exactly where.
Okay, calm down. Wow, that took a weird turn. What have you been up to? What are you doing?
Nothing. Reading. That's all I ever do with my life.
Bro,
I'm a loser, baby.
I think at some point you have to acknowledge the. Are you reading right now? I thought you had your phone out. I swear to God, I thought you were. I sweer to God. Like at some point you have to. Did you just pretend to read?
No.
Is that what you were doing?
No, I was.
I think you have so many withdrawals right now that you're looking down.
The strings on my hoodies at the end. There's these metal pieces, and they have 4 holes on each of them. So I was lining them up.
Why?
I don't know. I just like the way it looked.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, what were you gonna say?
Not anything about your compulsive disorders.
I don't have compulsive disorders.
Okay.
But at some point, I have to acknowledge what?
The fact that your reading is a healthy thing, but healthy things can also become unhealthy.
But it's not.
Dude, you read so much.
I do.
It's insane.
I've read over 130 books now. This year.
Dude, that's wild to me.
How many hours of video games you played? Let's see how many hours of Fortnight you got.
I don't know. I don't understand why you have to bring up things that don't matter. That's
it's the same
irrelevant.
Thing.
No, I know. I'm just saying it's wild. And you 100% have read more than I've played.
I don't think so.
I can't play while I'm walking around. I can't play when I go to the bathroom. I can't play when I'm driving down the road. I can't play like you've had to. You've read more than you've slept.
Oh, well, that's for sure.
You've read more than
Sometimes I sacrifice my sleep to read. But, like, when the enemies to
What
lovers.
enemies? Oh, I thought you were gonna be like, when the enemies attack, who are you gonna want on your side? I 100% thought that's where that was
no,
going.
when you're reading it, enemies to lovers, and the enemies start loving, you can't just be like, and I'm gonna put the book down and it gives like, no, you gotta read it. And so if you're up for 2 or 3 more hours, you're up for 2 or 3 more hours.
Hey, dude, sacrifices have to be made for fetish pleasures. I don't know. I mean, I think it is. I think if I watched porn as much as you read it, our relationship would be much different.
Why?
That much porn is criminal. Like, I think, like, you can't do that. You can't.
No, but like, people watch porn for a different reason than people read it. Like, you have no plot when you're watching porn.
I don't know what porn you're watching.
What are you watching?
I showed it to you. Remember?
Now you gotta explain that.
I feel like we talked about it last week.
I don't think we did because you just showed it to me the other day.
So on, is it Tubi? On Tubi there is pornographic films. So in like probably, I don't know, like the mid 2000s or so, there was like a couple production companies that were like, hey, let's make like pornography, but like with like plots and like studio value. Like it feels like you're watching like a TV show now, like the way that the camera and everything is. But you can watch those adult films with all the sex scenes cut out.
Yeah.
So it's literally just a movie. It's like a 40-minute movie, and it's the worst ever. And it's so, because like they'll get to a point to where it's just like, now it's time for you to please me. And then you'll just hear the music start, and then all of a sudden, like, they wake up the next day. It's like, wait, dude.
It's a fade to black moment.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny. It's one of the funniest things ever. I was told about this by a good friend, Jordy Minnick, and I had to check it out, and it was as funny as he said it was.
Yeah.
Because his favorite movies are like bad movies that end up being funny.
Yeah.
He said like he's to the point now where that's almost all he can watch.
Yeah.
And that is
like bad movies where they're really, really trying to be serious, but it's such bad quality and bad acting.
Like if you can see someone's acting, that's the problem.
Yeah.
They just got to be that character.
Yeah.
And not everybody can do that.
No.
Not everybody can be a sexy cop. You know what I mean? Like that's man, that stuff was redunk, dude. And then I watched what did we watch? We started watching The House of Usher.
Oh, Follow the House of Usher.
Yeah, but so I didn't realize that you were so big into Edgar Allan Poe.
Honey.
What?
As a teenager, I was very depressed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was into Poe.
Well, I was more of a Robert Frost guy.
I never read Robert Frost.
Yeah, so...
But yeah, I like Poe a lot.
I said I was more of a Robert Frost guy, as if I read a lot of Robert Frost. And I meant it. And when I said it a minute ago, I 100% meant it. And then you were like, I haven't read much. And I was like, me neither. Like, in my head, I was like, there was that one that was like two roads diverge or whatever.
Do you know what it was called?
Dude, it's something about two paths. It's like go that way or this way. That may have been the name. It's just either over there or that way. Like, oh my! But I'm a huge Robert Frost fan. Like, real. What a pretentious asshole I just was for a second. And the thing is that as I said it, I felt it, and I thought.
I love that you're crying. Right
but
now.
I meant what I said in that moment. I 100% meant I dig Robert Frost, and still in my heart right now, I dig Robert Frost.
I mean, obviously, it was very impactful. I mean,
It's just a cool name, dude. Robert Frost is such a Bobby Frost, dude. Bobby Frost.
Bobby Chill.
Bobby Light. Do you right? Oh, dude.
No, but the Fall of the House of Usher, it's a show
based on Robert Frost.
Now, first off, we were talking about porn, then silly porn, then just bad shows. This is not a bad show.
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah. No, this is
acting's
good.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
The production's great.
It's Mike Flanagan.
Yeah.
Which is probably, in my opinion, possibly the best, like, current day horror writer.
Yeah.
Like, he did, what was it, House...
Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah, Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor.
Yeah.
Then he did the Midnight Mass, which was like where the vampire one.
Yeah.
Then he did Doctor Sleep.
Doctor Sleep, yeah.
And I feel like he also was the one that did that Midnight Club show that we started and never finished. Remember where like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where all those kids are in the house and, like, they meet at midnight and they have to tell a ghost story.
Yeah.
Why didn't we finish
I don't
that?
know. I think we forgot about it until just now.
Oh.
Because, like, just now, I was like, I love
Thinking about
Robert Frost. And you know who would love that show is Robert Frost. And it reminded me about the show.
But
Dude.
I'm really liking the show. But I guess there's a lot of... For one, the title of the show is the title of one of his stories. But, yeah, I guess I never talked about how much I liked him until we're watching the show. And I was like, oh, that's a Poe poem. Oh, that's another one of his stories.
Yeah, you were calling it out, like, left and right. And I was like, dude, I can't even tell you the name of a poem by my favorite poet, Robert Frost. And you know everything.
We have a Edgar Allan Poe book in the bathroom.
And it's mine. That's what's weird.
You've never read it?
No. I mean, I've flipped through it occasionally, but not that often. I mean, I have read. Okay, look, I'm not just an idiot savant over here, okay? I can read poetry, and I have read a lot of poetry, and I'm sure I know I've read Edgar Allan Poe. I just don't, like, remember the things the way that you do.
Like... Watching that show, you obviously got the
okay, I
Raven.
feel like now, here's the thing. I feel like now you're saying obviously, and if I don't get it, it means I'm an idiot.
No, you obviously got the hint with the Raven.
Yeah. And I feel, if I can be honest,
yeah.
I felt so smart. Like, when I see... Because I was the first one that said something.
Yeah.
It was like, I seen the Raven, I was like, oh. And then I, like, tapped you like I'm a real cool boy. And I was like, yo, that's from Edgar Allan Poe, the Raven. And you were just like, yeah. It is. And then you're like, that's from Poe. See the milk that they're drinking? That was actually in Poe.
No, but so far there hasn't been anything from the Telltale Heart, but I think you would get that.
Yeah, I'd get that one. Holden was talking to me today, which is weird because we had this conversation last night.
Yeah.
And today in the car, Holden was just like, hey, have you ever read any Edgar Allan Poe? And I was like, yeah, dude, of course, yeah. I was like, yeah.
Him and Robert Frost.
And no, the Robert Frost thing didn't occur until 20 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago. Time doesn't make sense.
You just read it?
No, I'm just saying that I don't think I've ever thought of Robert Frost until that moment for whatever reason.
Have you actually read something by Robert?
Yeah, it's the Two Roads Diverge thing, right?
Is that a poem? I've never read, so I don't know.
It's the one where it's like...
Is it a poem or a short story?
What's the difference? All poetry is a short story if you read it right.
No.
You don't think that's accurate? Anyways, he was talking about something at school. They're talking about Edgar Allan Poe, and he was like, everybody's talking about how crazy he is. And like... Or everybody was talking about how insane that dude is, like in the story where he like kills that person and he can like hear the heartbeat and everything. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, they were talking about how crazy. Like, I don't think that's that crazy. He's like, I don't think he was insane. He was just a crazy person. And I was like, what is the difference? And he's like, well, like insane is like just murdering people, not caring or anything. Like this guy had remorse. So he was just crazy. And I was like, I don't think that's what that means.
No, he thought he was going to get caught.
But I think Holden's thing is he's like, oh, an insane person. That just made so much noise,
I'm
I bet.
Sorry. No, I bet it did. I bet no one heard it.
I actually, since it's sitting like on the floor, it probably did instead of it's on a table. Anyways, I think his thing is he's just like, no, an insane person doesn't know they're insane. A crazy person is just like, oh, I did something crazy. And I was like, well, I don't know. I was like, I feel like you're reaching here, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm excited to keep watching that show though,
Me too.
because I do think it is a bit slower, but I think all his stuff kind of is.
Yeah.
He's also was a huge Stephen King fan.
Oh, really?
So,
The Haunting of Hill House, you watched it without me.
dude, that's the first show that has scared me
So
in so long.
it was one of your first times being out on the road, and you were only gone for a night or two. So I was home one night by myself, and I started watching it, and you were going to come home in the morning. So I thought I'd watch a few episodes. And there was like 7 or 8 episodes.
You binged it.
I watched
Same,
it all the entire night, and literally I think it finished, and you walked in the door 10 minutes later, and I was like, oh my God!
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah.
And then, which was devastating for The Haunting of Bly Manor, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because I need to go back and watch it, because I was so pumped for it. Mm-hmm. And then I watched it, and I was like, this is okay.
Yeah.
Like, it
wasn't as good as the other one.
But that's the thing, is like, dude, The Haunting, the way that it all ties together and everything was just, that's the weirdest face.
I yawned.
What was that?
It was a yawn. But I was holding it in. Like, I didn't open my mouth, so...
Dude, your teeth stuck your lips out. Like, real weird.
There's air in there, you know, when you yawn. It's like, oh...
No, it looked like it was going inward. I thought you were, like, sucking a soul in. It was, like, out in. Very weird. Why'd you look down? What was that? That was... We're doing a podcast? You pervert.
For once, you went there before I did. But yeah, Haunting of Bly Manor wasn't as... It didn't scare me as much, but I don't know if that's because the other season... Because it's an anthology, but it's not...
Well...
I mean, is it?
No.
No.
No, it's not an anthology.
Well, the other show... I'm like, did it desensitize me? Because I feel like it was definitely spookier.
Well, I think it is in general, but also...
Like that lady, like, with the...
Yeah, but we also have not had a show like that in so long.
Yeah.
Like, American Horror Story is great. Mm-hmm. But like, it's not scary.
As it progresses, like, I think the first season was scary.
See, I don't think it really scared me.
Really?
I don't know. Not really. That... I'm trying to think of any shows typically don't scare me.
Yeah.
Like a movie, there's something about a movie that's like scary.
Do you remember the first time we watched Supernatural and I would not watch any more episodes because that first episode scared me so bad and we went years. And now I friggin' love it.
Yeah, but I think that had to probably do with not so much how scary it was with who we were at that time.
Yeah, I guess
that's what it was, because it was the same thing with what was that movie that came out, Legion or whatever. Because I remember a friend sent me a message and was like, dude, I can't wait for this movie to come out. And these are like the moments that stick in my head and always will, because I feel douchey.
Yeah.
Because I was a douchebag.
You think so?
I think I was pretty douchey, but like, I don't think I was, but I think like who I was trying to be was. If that makes sense. That's probably why I can do it, because I ain't no douche, bro. I'm a bro douche.
For anyone who hasn't known me and Jake for a long time, at one point we were very, very religious. So this is where all this is coming from.
Yeah, he sent me a message that was like the trailer for that movie, and it was one where like a bunch of people were getting possessed by demons and stuff. And I just texted him back and was like, dude, please do not watch that. Like, that's a bad idea. Do not watch it. And he texted me back and was just like, I miss my friend.
Oh.
And I'm not even friends with that dude anymore, but it's for other reasons, which is weird. But it was just like, I think of that moment so much. Mm-hmm. Because I believed that, though. Mm-hmm. That's what's wild, is like, I believed that. Horror movies were my favorite.
Yeah.
For years. And then I was made to believe that they were bad.
Right. And the thing is like, I don't want to blame religion, because I know people who are religious, but they're still true to themselves. And I think that was the problem with me and you, is we were
conforming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and there's definitely people who would have made us feel guilty, but
Who cares?
Again, I know religious people who are like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I still love my God, but I also like this. Where us being, and I think it has a lot to do with us being in our 20s and being so impressionable. That's why I tell everyone.
Well, we were also trying to be adults.
Yeah. And we don't try to be adults anymore.
Well, we were trying to prove to people we were adults. We got
Yeah.
married very young, and no one thought it was a good idea,
Yeah.
probably. I mean, they didn't really voice it to us because we didn't care.
Yeah, but I mean, and we had kids real young, but I mean, there's definitely snide comments.
Yeah.
Like, and I know we're getting off track here, but I was talking.
To what?
I don't.
What track?
I was talking one time, and it was me and my mom, and there's some other women there, and we were just talking about breastfeeding and how me growing up, it was just so normal to breastfeed. It wasn't like a big deal or anything. And I said, yeah, when I was a little kid, I didn't even know you could give a newborn baby formula. I thought it was bad for him because I had no idea.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, by the time I was a teenager, I was an aunt. And obviously, by the time I'm having this conversation with these women, I know better.
Right.
But as a little kid, that's what I thought. And Mom was like, yeah. And one of the other women said, babies having babies. And I was like, what the heck?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Right. I didn't have a kid then.
Yeah, I'm like, 7, 8 years old when I had this thought process. And all we're establishing in this conversation is just, it was normalized to breastfeed in my family.
Right. But still
It's like they had to get that little
people have to just do that.
In.
People just have. You know why? I think this is what it is. Because you know how a lot of adults are always like, "Oh, kids these days," or they'll be like, "Oh, well, they just don't get it," and blah blah blah. I think it's adults trying to prove to themselves that they're an adult.
Yeah.
None of us feel like adults.
Yeah.
All of us feel like kids trying to play adult. Like we all feel like we're trying to figure like. We don't know what we're doing, dude.
Yeah.
We're just figuring it out. When the kids ask me stuff, I'm just telling them the first thing that comes to my head and hoping it's correct.
Yeah.
Like, we're just trying to figure it out.
I remember, again, being very religious at the time and everything. I remember trying to dress a certain way because I wanted to present myself more as a mature adult.
Yeah.
And I can remember looking at clothes that I liked and being like, oh, well, that's too young for me. I shouldn't dress like a teenager. Well, apparently it's not that big of a deal now when my kids are still in my clothes all the time.
Right, yeah.
Like, even my sons
Yeah.
are like, you like this t-shirt? I'm like, sure do. It's mine.
Yeah.
Well, it fits me. Just because it fits you doesn't mean it doesn't fit me too, kid.
He's been wearing it for 2 days, too. Like, he won't take it off.
Like,
I think he's worried if he takes it off, you take it back. He's just
he
like,
does know I do his laundry.
Yeah, he's
right?
like, I had it last. I don't know what to tell you. It's like, yeah, because you wore it until it fell off.
Jasmine got in the car one day and I said, oh, that's a really nice tank top, which she had to fasten in the bag to keep from falling off of her. And she looked at me and she goes, it was in my room. I'm like, probably because your Nana put it in there, but it doesn't.
What was it?
It was one of, how I have a couple of tank tops that are like solid collars. It was the
Oh,
maroon
I
one
was wondering if it was one of the Dixon ones that you refused to wear.
that I refuse to wear.
I don't see you wearing those tank tops ever.
I wear the 2 black ones all the time. The white one, I'm terrified to
Yeah.
I wore the white one like to run to the grocery store, and that's it.
Oh, really?
And I haven't put it in the washer or anything. I immediately
just stare
take
at
it
it?
off. I'm scared.
Just
It's
a heads up,
white.
this podcast is sponsored by Dixon Flannel Company, the greatest clothes money can buy. And that's not a joke.
Oh, no, for sure.
Like, before they were the homies, before Dix was the homies, I rocked them all the time.
Yeah.
And the reason I thought they were expensive, but I was used to buying clothes at like Goodwill.
Yeah.
And then I found out, no, these are actually very reasonably priced, and they last and look new for like ever.
Yeah.
Like, I still have the first Dixon that I bought years ago. It still looks brand new.
Yeah.
And most of them are like wrinkle free. The pants, I'm wearing a pair of the pants right now. Actually, I'm wearing
Pants, shirt, hat, and probably socks.
I don't know. So like literally all my clothes are Dixon. They're the best. So Dixon Flannel Company, get your Dixon.
But yeah, I look at that time in my life, and now I try to look at people who are younger than me and not be that person. Like I work with a lot of 20-some-year-olds, and I learn stuff from them all the time. And I hope when I'm in my 40s and 50s, I still do.
Yeah.
And I used to have these preconceived notions of people. Like, for instance, sorority girls. I used to always think, oh, they're these uppity girls and all they want to do is party. I love sorority girls. I work with them all the time. The ones I've worked with are the most kind, wonderful girls. They're very helpful. And so I'm like, okay, well, obviously I've let other people's opinions dictate how I think about things. And with where we were in our religion, that was with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, everything.
I mean,
it was our whole life.
Like, I'm a big Anne Rice fan. And I collected all of the Vampire Chronicles. Mm-hmm. Me and you, we used to go to a date. We used to go to Texas Roadhouse, and we went to Barnes & Noble's, and I always got a new book.
Yeah.
And I had almost all of them. And what did I do? I got rid of them because someone who loves God should not be reading those books.
No.
I regret it so much.
No one said that to you.
No one said that.
That's what I want to make very clear, is that this wasn't anything that anyone did to us. This was stuff, we did this. I mean, 100% it was us. Like, we can't blame other people or blame religion or anything. Yeah, it was 100% us trying to prove something to ourselves and to others for no apparent reason whatsoever. Yeah. And that's what ended up making us miserable, and now we're pretty good. Yeah. Pretty happy with things.
I feel like a lot of people are like that in their 20s and then are too stubborn to admit, oh, I was just trying to please everyone.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time who are scared to get into their 30s, I'm like, don't be scared of your 30s.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Your 30s are great.
Yeah. Best time ever.
Like, my 30s is when I started accepting, oh, maybe that was a little ridiculous of me. And maybe I shouldn't have.
I also think
so worried about that.
I think that we are, because people did used to say, I mean, we just said the thing about being too young, but like we did have a lot of people that were like, oh, you guys are like really mature for your age and stuff like that. I do think that we mature at a weird rate to where like now we're in our 70s. You know what I mean? Like where you just stop caring.
I just want my McDonald's coffee.
Yeah, you just stop caring.
I think about that all the time because also the church we used to go to, there's a couple of older men that would get lovingly teased about how they used to like to meet at McDonald's because they loved McDonald's coffee, and people would give them a hard time about that. I'm like, man, I want to go have coffee at McDonald's with them.
That's what I'm saying. But I was the same way, and that's why I got rid of all my horror movies. That's what started us on this talk, was I got rid of all the horror movies, and I stopped watching horror. And here's why. I remember when and why and everything. Mm-hmm. It was because we watched Rob Zombie's Halloween, and it was very, like, I hadn't watched a horror movie in a while, I feel like, but I was stoked about that because I love Rob Zombie, even while we were, the whole time, that was one thing that we were like, I was like, I'm still listening to this music. I even remember one time talking to somebody, and it was like a younger person that wasn't like a leader in the church or anything, but we were talking about hidden meanings in music, and then I ended up like diving in and like learning more about stuff in music, and it made me not want to listen to certain music, so I stopped doing it. Yeah. Because I was like, well, I don't want to lose what I like. I was like, if it's bad, keep it over there, dude. I don't want to look into that. Yeah. But, for whatever reason, Rob Zombie's Halloween gave me snakes in my belly, and I wasn't mature enough to just be like, oh, this just isn't a movie for me. Yeah. Which I've since watched it, and it's fine.
Yeah, I don't think I could.
Yeah, it's not great. Yeah. And it still was one that I had to be like, this is going to be fine. Yeah. But it wasn't like... Then when that happened, I was just like, well, I'm being possessed. Yeah. Or like, or whatever. Like, this is it.
Being influenced.
Yes. But now I'm just like, oh, this just isn't for me. Like, we stop movies all the time. Yeah. It's just like, not for me.
Separate. Instead of excluding the whole genre, it's like, okay, well, this one particular thing in the genre isn't mine.
Exactly. So, yeah. And that's, but I think we should do that with all things. Yeah. I don't think that we should be 100% like, just be like, that's, dumb. Yeah. To just be like, well, I read this book sucked, so I just don't read anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. It's just like, what do you mean? Yeah. But I do think, and that's why whenever we watched that show, it scared me so bad. It's because I was just starting to get back into like watching horror stuff. I mean, I had been a little bit, but that was the first thing I watched where I was like, this is terrifying. Yeah. You realize that we just that was the weirdest way to finish that. Yeah. Like that, I can't believe we kept like I kept my mind. Like, like we started here. We got to go back there. I'm very surprised.
I mean, we're playing the game, and we went on some side quests, but we ultimately got to the completed mission.
Yeah. I mean, it took us 30 minutes to do that. That's incredible.
There's something floating in my face.
You just slapped your hands together, and that was real weird.
Real loud. Everyone's going to hear that. Is that what you were going to say?
No. Real weird is what I was going to say, and then I said it, and then you didn't even want to hear it.
It is real interesting looking back on who we were and who we are now. Because the crazy thing is who we are at our core. We've always been those people.
To us.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things. It's like we were always like this to each other.
Yeah.
Like.
Because we were each other's safe zone.
Yeah.
Where we didn't have to worry about ridicule or anything like that. Because in my 20s, if someone popped off and said something, I'd either get real defensive or be like, oh, well, maybe I'm wrong. Where now, I'll just look at someone and be like,
yeah, who cares?
You know, different strokes for different folks, doesn't really matter. And I think me working at the hospital I work in a college town. I get to work with people from all different ages, all different walks of life. And it's really helped me mature because I have really great conversations with people and learn about their background and everything, and realizing that not everything I grew up with was right, but that doesn't mean it was necessarily wrong either.
Yeah, right.
You know, I think that was a really big lesson for me in life, is just because it's right for some people doesn't mean it's right for others. It doesn't mean everyone's wrong either. Now, there's definitely things.
Well, there's extremes.
Yeah, there's extremes. Yeah. Exactly, but.
Yeah, just be cool or don't be here.
Yeah. I like it.
That's my thing.
I know.
It's like well, I'm not saying like you can't say it. I was just saying like that's that's
your thing.
That's my thing. Shut up.
I didn't even try to say it. So
that's not what I was getting at. I was just saying like that's how I feel. Like be cool or don't be here.
Yeah.
But I would have hated, like, I would not like who I was. Like if me 10 years ago walked in here right now, I would not like them.
Yeah.
I would, like, when I left, I would be like, that dude sucked.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that
fake,
about myself too.
So fake.
Yeah.
Just sucked, dude. And there was so much guilt with that and everything too. Mm-hmm. Man, that sucked. Dang, dude, I'm getting sad.
I think for me, I was always trying to have this level of professionalism.
Yeah.
So that was my thing, is I didn't think I was necessarily, just because I was different at home than I was around other people, because we were leaders in a church, I was like, okay, I got to be professional all the time. It's like when I'm at my job now as a nurse, when I go into a patient's room, I'm very professional. I don't say the F word 5 million times or have sexual innuendos that come out of my mouth or anything.
Well, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that about you.
But
maybe just keep that going everywhere except for with me.
But then when I'm at the nurse station with my friends.
Oh, yeah, you get gross. You're gross.
I'm not gross.
You're gross.
We're real with each other.
Perverts.
I think as a religious leader, that's how I was constantly.
Yeah.
Because I was always under the notion that if I say something wrong and lead someone astray, I'm going to cause them to hell, and it's going to be, or cause them to go to hell, and it's all my fault.
Right.
Because I'm responsible for everybody's souls. And now I look back at that and I think that is so messed up and wild. But that is something religion does put on you.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Is that, you could cause someone to stumble by something you say or do. And I'm like, that's not my fault. I'm not responsible for them. That's their relationship with their God.
Yeah, man. It's like life is already so hard to where, I mean, I was getting ready to say, like, I don't know how I did it, and I didn't. I mean, I broke. That's how we got here. Because, like, thinking about it now, it's like I have PTSD about it. Like, when friends ask me for help sometimes, I legit am like, just let me think about it. Yeah. Because it's like, before I would do everything for anyone all the time. Yeah. Like, it was horrible. And now I'm just like, okay, do I need to do that? Or, like, you know what I mean? Because I feel like I got taken advantage of a ton for that, like,
sure
all
did.
the time.
Yeah.
And because it was like people would just, and I get it, people would just want to talk about their problems and everything. And I get it. And that was, you know, the role that I took on whenever I wanted to do that. That's fine. And I loved helping people. But there was never boundaries. There was never boundaries.
Calls at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. And then, and I felt like I would have to do it because if I didn't do it and something happens, and then whenever I didn't do it and something happened,
yeah,
and then
that
I was
really screwed with your brain.
100%.
Whereas with me when that happened, it had the opposite effect. Because I was like, how dare that person and anyone else who's of the same mind frame think it was my husband's responsibility to carry this person through their bad time when he was there for this person all the time, and this person had, because of their past type of employment, had resources available with professionals, because we are not professionals.
Right.
We are not professional counselors or therapists or anything, but yet we are expected to play that role.
Yeah.
And that was what was always wild to me.
The whole thing was just wild, really.
Yeah.
I don't really regret any of it, though, because I feel like...
I do.
Well, the reason that I don't is just because I feel like if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be who I am.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I ever would have felt comfortable enough or, like... Because, I mean, I really got to the point of being like, I either have to be 100% authentic in myself or I'm not going to be around anymore. And I don't think if anything like that would have ever happened to me, that I wouldn't have had... I don't know, the balls to just be like, I don't care.
Yeah.
This is who I am, and if you don't like it, I don't care.
I think I regret it, and it makes me angry, because looking back, I knew better than to take any kind of leadership in our early 20s with
you
three
tried
babies.
you tried to stop
But that's
me.
what... And I tried to voice that to other leaders. I was like, I think we're just really too young for this. And I remember... the women in leadership being like, no, you're not, and da-da-da, and you can do this. And I wish I had the confidence I have now to look at them and be like, you realize that the deity you serve, Jesus Christ, didn't start his ministry until his 30s, but yet we're told to be Christ-like, but then we're expected to take on responsibilities at a much younger age. When also, at the time, even if Christ hadn't died on the cross, he probably only would have lived to his 50s and 60s. We're going to live to our 70s, 80s, 90s.
Right.
So I can start this whole thing in my mid-30s. Let me grow in my 20s, raise my children, and then when I'm more responsible, more sure of myself, and know how to put up boundaries, then put me in that kind of position.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is... and again, it all comes back to just like us trying to prove something.
Yeah.
You know, whenever we're younger, just trying to prove something.
Yeah.
You broke way before I did.
Yeah.
And you just are different than me.
Yeah.
You are very much, well, I'm just going to bury this down deep and we'll never discuss it again. That's you, like 100%.
What?
Yeah, you're just like, well, we don't discuss my feelings.
Stop it.
Where I'm not like that at all. I'm like, I have to get this out. Like, I have to talk about how I'm feeling.
If you don't get it out, you'll rage out.
And we're fixing this. Whatever it is, we have to fix it. Because that's the other thing is I've just always been the type of person to be like, okay, well, if there's a problem in our life, we can fix it. Like, whatever it is, we can do it. And then I got to the points where it's like, oh, I can't fix any of this. And yeah, so.
Yeah, it was definitely... It's weird how we got on this topic. Like,
very strange. This is the podcast.
And
you know what I mean?
I wonder, like, you know, a lot of our struggles and our growth came from religion, but I wonder how other people in their 20s like compare similarly. Like, I think about people who go to college right out of high school for 4 years and they get into a job that they thought they always wanted, and then you see them in their early to mid 30s switching career paths. I'm like, are they going through something similar? Do they look back at their 20s and think, I took that job because I told everyone that's what I was going to do, and then I felt like I cornered myself?
Yeah.
Like, I'm very interested in that, to see if other people feel like in their 20s, they felt they had to prove something and ended up
Right.
hurting themselves in the long run.
Yeah, but also, like, people forever was just, like you're saying, like, you're just like, this is who I am now.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's one of the best things about, I feel like the best things about, like, the last, like, 30 years is that people aren't stuck anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, they obviously there are people that are stuck. It's just, like, more open that, like, you
It's
can
more
literally do
accepting
stuff.
to change who you want to be and what you want to do in life.
At any age.
Yeah, at any
like,
age.
legit, any age at all. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I really like that because it's, like, I was thinking about, somebody, man, that dog is just...
Yeah, sorry about the dog.
She does this, like, every night.
Yeah, I know.
And it's never anything.
I know.
There's never anything out there. She just sits out there and barks like an idiot.
Right by the office.
Yeah, she's an idiot savant. You know, she's only good at just being cute sometimes. She's the cutest, ugliest dog ever.
I know.
It's insane. Little! Stop it!
Great, you made it worse. What were you saying?
Dude, I don't even remember. Somebody had said something about, like, how they sent me a video. The dog's gonna drive me insane, is what's gonna happen. The dog is going to... I hate life again. You see what happened?
She's getting louder as you complain about her.
I know. And not only that, but I cannot concentrate with her barking. Because I'm like, how loud is it?
I don't know.
It sounds so loud to me.
I listen to podcasts though where people's dogs bark.
Yeah. Jackie!
Hold on, be quiet for it. I mean, yeah, a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's picking it up.
Yeah, but it won't be that loud. Like when you look on the computer, the ones that are up real high is the louder ones.
So, anyways, I'll just get really close, and that way, the problem is my brain. The problem is that I keep losing my train of thought because the dog barks, and I'm like, "What'd she say?"
Instead?
I'm just like, "Wait, what'd she say?" I have to take care of it.
Oh my god!
You just talk to me for a second.
Just talk?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what to talk about now that I'm all by my lonesome. When Jake goes and investigates the dog barking at a strange noise, he said, "I'll be right back."
Hey, what are you doing? Stop barking and stuff. No, I know you're big and mean and scared. No, I didn't.
Aww.
Come on, back outside.
Now
Go
she
lay
tries
down.
to come in.
Hey, lay down. Go to bed. Leave the cat alone.
Is that who she's barking at? The cat?
Stop.
Put her in the living room.
No.
She won't stop. See?
Well, Alice ran that way though, so as long as she's barking somewhere else, she was just right outside. How was that? Did you do good?
I did wonderful. I got applause.
So somebody sent me a thing why'd she come back? Why did she come? What is happening to life? This is complete chaos and out of control. How often do we just sit out here and it's completely silent and nothing's going on? And the one time that I am like, okay, well, we're going to do a thing, it's complete chaos and anarchy. And the thing is, she's not even a dog that we picked out. She showed up. And she should just, understand that we chose to love her, so she needs to chill out, calm down, and relax a little bit. She's still a puppy, and that's one of the biggest problems, is that she is still a puppy. But, we have the fattest Great Dane who ever lived. She's great. She never barks, hardly. Okay, good. So we got that taken care of.
Well, hopefully. I put the cat inside because Little want to go inside, but...
Okay, so anyways... somebody sent me a video, and it was a video of this guy that was talking, and he was like, what are people going to dress like in, 10 years if they're dressing like us? Because they're like, look back at, the 60s, the 50s, the 60s. Every decade has a very clear... distinct style.
Yeah.
If you see somebody with, I don't know, 70s, obvious, it's all obvious.
Yeah.
Just from the 70s to 80s.
Yeah.
And then the 80s to the 90s. But once the 2000s hit, the early 2000s, you could still kind of tell. It's after 2010.
Yeah, probably.
That's where it's just but I think it's because that everybody then, were fitting in. Mm-hmm. Even if you were outcast, you still dressed like the outcasts.
Yes.
You all still fit in somewhere.
Yeah.
Individuality is celebrated so much now to where you're not going to be able to dress like us because we're our own people.
Well, also, no one gives you a hard time if you dress different one day than you did the last. You have a very good friend who used to do this all the time where...
Seth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. He still kind of does.
And a t-shirt and cowboy boots, but then the next day he's wearing skater shoes and baggy pants, and so there was no, that's Seth's style. It's whatever he felt like wearing. Yeah,
and I loved that about him. That was one of my favorite things about Seth.
I'll do the same thing where someone can run into me one day and maybe I'm wearing a really flowy, like, hippie skirt with a cute top and sandals, but then you'll see the next day in leggings and a flannel, or I'm wearing cowboy boots and jean shorts and a tank top.
Yeah, so whatever you just are feeling that day.
Because I walked outside and it felt like that kind of day.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, it used to be you would be like, hold on, I have to put on my Pac-Man shirt, or I don't know, whatever people dress like, you know, like, you like a specific thing. But like, even like me, people are always like talking about how like, man, this, like, I'll post a picture or something and people will be like, this looks like it's straight out of like the 70s or something. Mm-hmm. And I get that. Yeah. But then also I don't feel like I'm trying to dress like the 70s. These are just things I like.
Yeah.
I mean, I will wear a jean vest with Grateful Dead stuff all over it, with a Dixon flannel, of course. Get your Dixon at dixonflannel.com. and like jeans, like ripped up jeans, or like a pair of nice Dixon pants. Get your pants at dixon.com. But then I'll wear like Jordans. Yeah. Because I like them.
Yeah.
And I don't care.
And that's all you need.
Yeah. I don't care. Who cares?
I think, you know, talking about that and talking about how people can just change their jobs now and stuff, it's a very millennial thing to do. Yeah. Like, millennials were the type of people who are like, we're not going to be going to a job where we're miserable, where the place right down the road will hire me right now for the same, if not more. So why would I continue to work for an employer who treats me like trash? And what were we? I was talking, one of the girls at work, I was talking to her, and she's a part of this organization that does a lot of fundraising for children's hospitals. And she had told them that she was going to miss a particular day months in advance. She has it in text message, it's in writing. So we're at work, and whoever heads up their little section of the organization messages her and is like, you were supposed to be here, and she's like, no, refer back to this conversation on this date. I told you I wouldn't be there. I had to work. Mm-hmm. So then she's also telling us how she's like, yeah, I've hardly ever missed. The only other day I missed is because I woke up and I was really, really sick. Like I was throwing up, and I said, hey, I'm sick. I'm throwing up. I'm not going to come to the meeting, because she didn't want to get anyone else sick. Yeah. And this girl, who's the same age as my coworker, says, oh, yeah, a lot of other people are hungover, too, so you won't be alone feeling like that. Like, as if she should come to the meeting. I said, how dare her assume because you're sick, you're hungover. Right. But also, it's really none of her business why you say you can't be there. Anyone who tells me that they have to tell their boss why they're not going to be at work, I'm like, especially, like, this is, organizations, maybe a little different. You don't have like PTO days. But if you have PTO days at work, it's no one's business why you're not going to be there. If I wake up and feel like not being there and I have the PTO, I'm not going to be there. Yeah, you also get very irritated whenever the kids' school asks questions. I'm their mom, and I get, like, if they're gone for 2 weeks without a doctor's note and I haven't called, go check on that kid. Something's going on. But if I'm calling every single day, or if I call one day and say my kid's just sick, I'm not going to take him to the doctor for being sick for 1 day. Well, not just that, but like there's also times where you'll call and you're just like, hey, I'm just calling to let you know, like, Roman won't be in today. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, what's going on? And you're just like, it's just a mental health day. Yeah. Like, because it's none of your business. Yeah. What's it matter? Sometimes I have to work a lot, and they're in school a lot, and sometimes I just want to hang out with my kids. Yeah. And I'm sorry that didn't fall on your designated break. They also all have good grades. Yeah.
So what's it matter?
I know. Like
That was the thing that really got me with the parent-teacher conference the other day, which I get, but I'm glad that I pointed it out because Roman's teacher was just like telling us these things, and she was saying that like his like reading and math or something like that was like
on like the national test scores.
Right, but I guess I just didn't understand what she was. I thought she was saying that like overall. So she's like, yeah, he's just struggling in like reading and math here because he's like below
proficiency.
Yeah, thanks, because I wasn't going to try to say that word. And I was like, okay. So in my head, I'm like, okay, well, these are the things we need to work with him on. Mm-hmm. And then she showed us his current grades, and they were like A pluses. Yeah. And I was like, and so she got done. I was quiet, but I was thinking it the whole time. And then at the very end, she was like, so, do you have any questions? And I was like, yeah, I got one. So you're telling me that he's below average in these two subjects? She's like, yeah, that's what the score's saying. I'm like, but he's got A pluses. So what's like, did you change something? Like, are you not teaching him the same? Was you just like, well, we'll just teach him what works for him? I'm like, I'm confused. Like, because if that's the case, we should all have A's.
And then we were like, no, these are from last year's.
And I was like, oh, then why are we looking at this? Because it's like, it's not current.
Yeah.
Who cares? If he has an A plus in school right now, that's all. Why do we do grades then?
Yeah.
I'm so sick of all of the crap that goes along with it. They're giving us all these
grades, but we're going to look at these national tests more. Why do I care?
And then I'm like, well, why are we looking at the grades then? It's like, well, the grades are just like keeping track of like where they're at currently. And I'm like, then what's the test? Well, the test is so that we could see like where they are at that moment. It's like, you're saying the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah. Like, I don't know, dude.
It's just, I think our generation, and if I'm wrong, I might be wrong, but I feel like it really started kicking off with more the millennial generation of us being like, hey, so since we've been adults, we've either been in a recession or on the verge of it, so we're going to just start caring about ourselves in this current lifetime. We have ideas for the future, but we're not like maybe some past generations who got a job and was like, okay, I'm going to work here for 30 years because I know in 30 years this company's still going to be here, and I'm going to get this pension, and then I get to live the rest of my life like that. Or, I'm going to start this job in my early 20s, and then by my mid to late 20s, I'll be able to buy a house because the housing market will be fine. We have not had that our entire time as adults. Every other millennial I talked to who decided to do the traditional thing that past generations did, and we're going to get married early and have kids early, guess what? They're in the same boat as us.
Yeah.
Because what worked for past generations doesn't work for us. So I hope we started setting a precedence for the younger generation.
It's just going to go back to the other way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, the joke all my friends always had about Roman is that when Roman grows up, he's going to wear suits all the time.
Yeah.
It just because his rebel against me is him being like an upstanding citizen. Like, that was always the joke that my friends would make. Like, dude, what? Like, Roman's gonna grow up and just be like, Dad, it's 8:00 in the morning. Why aren't you up yet? Like stuff like that. But I think that's kind of true to a certain extent because we're always gonna do things against our parents or against the previous generation for the most part, I think. And if this generation's whole thing is complete being individuals and being like, just. You can be whoever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do and all that stuff. Like, I feel like in a couple of generations, they're going to be like, it's just going to start over. And they're going to be like, you have to work here for your whole life because that's what's really cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is cool, dude. We're such hipsters. We became our parents again.
Yeah.
Like,
that's all right. You go have that job where you have to work 10 hours days, 5 days a week where you're miserable. Guess who's going to be helping raise your kids?
Yeah.
The parents you don't want to be like.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And we're going to make sure your kids are just like us.
I can't wait for sitcoms. The sitcoms are going to be so good. There's got to be some out there already that are like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out for a little bit. This has been super fun. Sorry that Chia keeps kicking things. And the dog was barking and a lot of things happened.
They know about the dog, but they don't know about what I'm doing.
It's fine. So, really do appreciate it. You could Facebook, all that stuff. We have a Patreon. We did just recently ship shirts out. So, if you are on Patreon and you should have got a shirt, message us, and we will make sure that you get a shirt. So, thank you to everyone who is Patreon supporters. It's patreon.com/laughandbeblessed.
And speaking of shirts, stop on Dixon Flannel.
Dixon Flannel.
Do
Thank
a little
you.
shopping.
Yeah. Oh, dude, this is the time to do it too. They have like their horror
Ooh,
collection
all their
and stuff.
spooky stuff. Yes.
Dude, and they have that's what got me hooked.
Yeah.
It was a Friday the 13th flannel.
Yeah.
That's what started this mess.
On our anniversary.
On our anniversary
Has
in
our
Disney.
anniversary printed on it.
And we were walking around Disney and I was like, I heard about this and I have to get this.
And I said sure.
It was an anniversary present from you from me.
Yes.
To me, from me.
You kept buying Dixons, and I thought it was ridiculous.
And then I got you one.
And I love Dixon.
Yeah, dude, it's so good. So definitely check it out. They have some sales going on right now too. But they have a Friday the 13th T-shirt. They have a Nosferatu T-shirt. There's a Frankenstein T-shirt. There's a lot of really, really dope stuff on there right now. They just released the Venkman flannel, which is Ghostbusters, and it's purple and green, and it looks so dope, dude. I cannot wait to get that package. They also just released the Gill Man, which is Creature from the Black Lagoon. Great flannel. So definitely go over there, check them out. They have other things too. Bathing suits. They have hats, hoodies, coats, backpacks, socks. Stuff for your
athletic
dogs,
gear.
Dude. Everything. Like it. Just go check them out. It's the best, and they're the homies. So, thank you guys so much. Have a great week. If we don't, you know what? I'm not even gonna say that because we will 100% have another podcast before Halloween. That'll be. We'll do a spooky list of movies to watch or something. We haven't done one of those in a long time, or anything, for a long time. So, but thank you guys so much. Laugh and Be Blessed podcast is brought to you by Happiness. Freaking get it, dude! It's free. Just check it out and grab it. It is awesome and it feels great. So just do that. And if you're not sure how to do that, all you got to do is just stop
and laugh and be blessed.